Welcome back to the Hockey Show, and today we are talking about game number 5 between the Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning, or what I like to call it is the death of the Lightning, because this is the Florida Panthers series. The Cats take it 4-1 and knock out the Lightning, the 3-time Stanley Cup finalists 3 years in a row. The superstar team that has fallen from grace has finally lost in the first round 2 times in a row, and it is an end of an era, it feels like, for Tampa Bay, as Steven Stamkos soaks it in at the end of the game, which was pretty sad to watch. But before we just talk about the Lightning, I have to discuss the Florida Panthers. This was the best outcome of this series for them. They needed a game. They needed a series where they can go in and they can have a competitive, well-fought, just like truly have to grind it out and play hard and scratch and claw and bite for that series win and to open up the playoffs, right? Because if they had like an easy sailing, right, if they got matched up against the Capitals and they just get to go in, they get to score 7 goals a game against them and win 7-0 4 games in a row and sweep them, I don't think that'd be good, and that's why I don't like it for the Rangers, is that it's going to be such an easy series for them to win as their defense is so good, and then they just get to walk on to the next round where a team like Boston's been fighting like hell to beat the Maple Leafs and goes in, battle-hardened, ready to take on the Cats, and they get that edge where they get like those 2 good wins to begin. Maybe the Cats make Game 3 go their way, but then the Bruins find their way to get Game 4, and it's 3-1, then they knock them out in Game 5 or 6. That would be bad for them. The Panthers, what they really needed was a good series where they have a good goaltender, they have a good offense, they have a good defense to fight against, and really put together a well-functioning machine to find their game, to find their systems, and they did it. Against the Tampa Bay Lightning was some of the funnest games I've ever seen. They were so fun because they were always so close. You can tell that there was like the heat and fire between these two teams, especially because they're in Florida. But anyways, these two teams can tell were so evenly matched, with the offense truly going at each other. But what really showcased in this one is that the Lightning, one of the best offensive teams in the NHL, was just smothered by the Cats. The Panthers' defense was so incredible, with even guys like Ekman-Larsson, but guys like Montour, Forsling, Ekblad, OEL, right? Mikkola, right? All these guys just playing defense was just a beauty to watch. It was so spectacular because the offense of the Lightning, who is so potent, that is their best attribute. I mean, the Lightning are really well rounded, but anyways, the superstar offense, the potent lethality that the Lightning have, was just literally smothered, right? If they were just a raging fire and like a torch that couldn't be put out, they literally were just like, screw it. And then they just put it over, right? Like, they just put out the fire of the Lightning. And then the offense, right? The offense of the Cats, so good. Everyone chipping in, especially with this last game. When Barkov getting 2 goals. Carter Verhaeghe getting on the board. The clutch man himself, Carter Verhaeghe. Matthew Tkachuk getting a ton of assists this series. Not too many goals, but getting a ton of assists. His name hasn't needed to be called yet. Those guys, Rodriguez getting on the board, right? Reinhardt had a great series, From the defensive end, guys really chipping in, Montour getting assists on the board, right? But then the goaltending. Sergei Bobrovsky putting on one of the most dazzling, most impressive performances you've ever seen on the ice. And especially with that save. And I don't need to say what save. I don't need to show a clip of the save. You know the save. You saw it everywhere on Instagram for days. The NHL wouldn't stop jacking themselves over about it. You know the save at this point. Bobrovsky was having a hell of a series. He couldn't be beat, and it shows in this one. And talking about Bobrovsky, sure, that call, as much as you might want to say the Lightning were screwed over, yes, that was a bad call. I know his foot was in the crease. I think in the crease calls are always ridiculous. I remember a few years ago, There was one against, I think it was against the Lightning when they did it. I can't remember exactly, but the crease calls like that are always ridiculous. Just because a guy's foot is in the crease doesn't mean anything. Like, we literally have goals where guys are shoving themselves into the goaltender. That's not goalie interference. That's not in the crease. We have goals with there's so many ridiculous plays and goals all the time that happen where in the game that's going on right now between Boston and Toronto, the play where Matthew Nyes wrapped it around the net and it goes in front of Swayman, but then I don't remember who it was, but he shoots it and then it goes underneath his pad, but Swayman's down on the ice, he doesn't know what the hell's going on, and then Nyes and everyone's poking at the puck every single player is all 10 guys are in the crease. It still could go in because they haven't blown the whistle yet. If that can be a goal, then a guy's foot in the crease does not need to bother. It was not goaltender interference. His being in the crease had nothing to do with Bobrovsky. And what I think is even stranger is that he didn't even touch Bobrovsky. He didn't do it. I don't know how they found that as goaltender interference, but to say that the least, right? Sure, that was a bad call. They should have 2 goals, but it doesn't matter. Because the Panthers put up 6 goals. And sure, would that have changed the course of events? Sure, the game might have been a little bit different, but still, the Panthers scored 6 goals. And it's the same thing with a few years ago when the Sharks scored those 4 goals on that one 5-minute major called on the Golden Knights. At the same time, it's sure, you were screwed over, but you still need to play hockey. Just because you were screwed over, just because some guy decided to make the horrible call, does not mean you get to just start to whine about it and give up playing. And I'm not saying the Lightning did that, but the Panthers dominated. They just kept scoring. And for Tampa Bay, still discussing them, right? They had a hell of a series. Vasilevsky still has it. He's still a phenomenal goaltender. Maybe not the goaltender he was a few years ago, but he's still a solid goalie. Hedman had a good series. He got a goal tonight. But the main guy that I think had the best series here, and before I get to him, Kucherov had a fine series too. Everyone's saying he was bad. People who think that, if you think Kucherov had a bad series, you're nuts. Just because a guy didn't score, just because he had the most points in the regular season and then he didn't go on and score 20 points in the first round, he had 7 points in 5 games. That's pretty good. And sure, he might not have made any highlight reel saves. It might not have made any, saves. Maybe not any crazy goals or anything. Maybe not any plays that, saved the day or anything like that. But that's because his style of play and the way he was playing was being shut down by the Panthers. They played man on man. They covered Kucherov. They shut him down. And Kucherov, as good as a player he was, the defense and the playoff ability of the Panthers was undeniable against him. He couldn't get anything going. But the main man I want to talk about who got 4 goals this series was Steven Stamkos. What happens with Stammer now? And I don't know. I know John Cooper said it feels like he should be a Bolt for life. I would hope so. But at the same time, Stamkos, this should not be his last dance. He is still plenty good for the NHL. If a guy like Joe Thornton, and I know a guy like Joe Thornton and Marlowe are different breeds where they just want to play hockey forever, and I know Stamkos is one of those guys who hockey is, I know a lot of these guys, hockey is their life, but Stamkos' life is really dominated by hockey, and that is his love and passion is the game. But for me, he is not done with hockey. He should not be. He is still putting up plenty of points. He still has a fight in the play. He is still one of the best playoff performers I see. And for him, I definitely want to see him go somewhere. I want to see him go somewhere like the New Jersey Devils, where a guy like Jack Hughes can have a real guy to play with and get goals on the board. But I don't want to see him leave. And if he does leave, what does that mean, right? Where does Tampa Bay go from here? Because is moving on from Stamkos going to be the solution to their problems? No. No matter what he signs for, which I'm guessing would be at least a smaller deal, right? If he goes for $6 million or so, maybe he's super team friendly, goes to $5 million, even crazy $4. Even so, even if he goes high and he goes for $7 million for 1-2 years, he wouldn't do that. I think Stamkos' guy would be more reasonable, maybe go $6 to $5 million for 2 years, something like that, to give his team a chance to give him and his team a chance to win. But moving on from him, right? What is that going to change? I don't think that's going to change anything. There's no moves that would be like this offseason, like unless they can make a move for, I mean, they can't make a move for anyone like crazy right now. Like last year would have been like a big year, but this year, unless they go for a guy like they trade for like let's they try to go for like a Trevor Zegras or something like that, and they're like that's how they're trying to reboost the team. But other than that, like I don't know who's on. I can't think of anyone who's on the trading block or anything. I can't think of any big free agents that would really shape this team in a different way. So I don't know what their move would be there. Like other than to do a complete rebuild, but they wouldn't be trading him for any assets. They would just be getting rid of him. So I don't really know what the move is for them. For me, the Lightning have still plenty of pieces to keep playing and keep fighting. And I think Stamkos and Julian Breezeball will find a deal. I think that is going to happen. He will stay on the team. And yeah, because they still have plenty of good pieces. The defense is fine. The goaltending's fine. The offense is definitely not what it used to be, but still has some good pieces. Like, I don't know. Tampa Bay is whatever. But for the Florida Panthers, moving on in this playoffs, they are going to be absolutely deadly. And I think if they play against the Bruins, who have not looked like the best team ever, even against a team like Toronto, that makes me think Florida's going to at least the Eastern Conference Finals. And if they play against the Maple Leafs, they're going to the Eastern Conference Final. Like, there's no doubt about that. So for me, the Florida Panthers right now, they probably have an easy shot to the final right now, because I definitely think they're going to take out either the Rangers. I think they take out the Canes. I don't really see them having anyone in the East that really shuts them down. So I don't know. This feels like an easy win for the Florida Panthers right now, because they just have the best defense in this whole playoff so far. They have the best goaltending right now. You can debate Swayman or not, but I just don't think, I think Bobrovsky has put on a way better performance than him. The offense is lethal, and it was being shut down by a great defense and a great goaltender in Vasilevsky. And to see them go up against a team that isn't so well defensively later on in the playoffs is going to really be interesting to see what happens. So for me, the Cats, I'm excited for them. Great win for them this series. It shows that they can fight to the end. They can fight so hard to even beat a team that should take them the distance, and they only went to Game 5. That's crazy. That is crazy, and the Cats are looking on fire. So that is all I gotta say, and I'll make a separate video over the offseason and the teams that lose about what they should do going on from here. So Tampa Bay will be getting a video soon, and that is all I gotta say. So thank you for watching this. If you made it this far, please, I'm begging you, please subscribe. Please. Just if you do anything, just subscribe. Please. I'm so close to 500, so please just do it. Just be the one. Anyway, thank you for watching this, and Too Sweet, have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.